Do you really think you know what evil really is? Many people think that evil is harming others with personal gain. Well, that's in part true, but it's not a complete definition of evil. Goodness harms others as well, to propagate its own principles, to propagate its own ideas. So it's hard to say that evil in itself is harming others. So what is evil? Evil is a philosophy of survival. Now, the term survival is very interesting. Let's consider the French term survivre and the Italian term sopravvivere. Survivre, vivre avec sûreté, to live with security, to exist, to be sure that one will continue in manifesting oneself. So evil wants to exist. It's not that evil wants to disappear. Evil wants to exist and to continue to exist. Let's consider the Italian term sopravvivere. To live above others. That's the other trait of evil. Evil wants to be superior, wants to command, wants to be the apex of the triangle of hierarchy. Evil wants to live above, live in luxury, live in well-being, live in pleasure. Evil seeks to be above others. Being above others also facilitates survival. The purpose of evil is, the first purpose, as we said, is actually to exist. It's a philosophy which, unlike goodness, seeks to be the single one which escapes danger, escapes necessity. So evil will do everything that is required to be in a situation of tranquility, of survival. Goodness instead does not worry about survival. Goodness worries about propagation. Goodness seeks to impose its ways and to bring them to others. Evil instead will propagate its own philosophy with one purpose: to dominate others. Goodness instead seeks that others implement the philosophy, so to favor the well-being of the whole community. Evil seeks domination. Goodness dominates, but goodness doesn't necessarily seek domination. Goodness, in most instances, seeks cooperation. Evil instead seeks to dominate, to be above and to give orders, to secure that others act according to its wishes and its wants. Thus, that said, it seems obvious that there where one seeks to be above and one seeks to dominate, evil is the ideal philosophy. So, how do you become evil? How do you implement the powers of evil? It's simple. Evil is based on knowledge. The secret is to know what to do and then to do it. First knowledge, then virtue. It's quite simple. You see, the color of evil is black. They have to know. The problem of evil is that it doesn't necessarily know what to do. It's the big issue that evil has. What should I do to obtain what I want? Then the second stage is a bit harder. You see, it's not sufficient to know what to do. Then you actually have to do it. And in life, in any circumstance, there can be many difficulties, many impediments that stop you from doing what you should do. For this reason, we can say that evil is very similar to virtue. Evil will do everything it requires to obtain what it wants. It will do everything it requires to apply the knowledge that gives it the result that evil wishes and that evil pursues. So, two colors. The first color is black, which represents knowledge, like the ink of a pen. The second color is silver or platinum. Evil is militant. You see, evil seeks power. In order to dominate others, one has to be above others. That requires a lot of work. Quite often, evil pursues virtue so to obtain the powers of virtue. Evil knows that virtue has power. Evil knows that rectitude obtains results, that justice obtains results, that patience obtains results, that precision and intelligence obtain results. Thus, for that reason, evil is very similar to virtue. Evil seeks the powers of virtue so to obtain the position of supremacy where it can impose its will on others. How does evil make its choices? What technology of thought does it use? Well, the main technology of thought that evil uses to obtain results is the concept of opportune. Opportune is a framework of choice making. Opportune takes in consideration results and dangers, putting them together and then deciding whether to do something or whether not to do something, deciding whether it's opportune to do this or non-opportune to do that. Opportune protects behavior. There are other philosophies of choice, like for example propriety, something that the British use quite often. If it's proper to do this, proper to do that. Or decency, if it's decent to do this, decent to do that. Evil uses opportune. Evil has one problem, as we said before, knowledge. The problem with evil is that the self-interest of evil tends to pervert evil. Evil is brought away far from the truth. The term perversion means bringing someone away from the truth. So evil doesn't know initially what the truth is, and quite often discovers the truth through a process of trial and error. There is thus a lot of suffering in evil. Evil doesn't get it right at the first try. You see, virtue and suffering. One mistake, correction. Another mistake, correction. Another mistake, correction. Another mistake, correction, and finally evil arrives to the right conclusion. Pursues the path of correct behavior through a process of trial and error, and above all the virtue of intelligence. Evil is intelligent, thus realizes when it succeeds, and pursues those behaviors which bring to success. Thus, ultimately, since it pursues its purpose with virtue, evil is bound to dominate others. Evil succeeds through a process of sacrifice and suffering. If you're evil, expect a lot of pain. Goodness suffers much less. Goodness seeks the help of others and gets it right in a quicker way. Shares the results, sustains others, walks out of its way to secure that others suffer less. Not evil. Evil will seek to be the one on top, and if necessary, exploit others. Initially, evil has a lot of friends. A lot of friends facilitate a greater result. But evil is careful not to share information. Evil is subject to a lot of competitions. There's one thing which characterizes evil, and that is stress. Incredible stress. Always fighting, always a tacit, silent conflict with others in order to be the one to be supreme in order to survive. And there where evil does succeed and reaches the top of the hierarchy to which it belongs, it tends to be very lonely, always fearing that someone else will seek to impose its own dominion over the position that evil has conquered with a lot of pain, with a lot of sacrifice, with a lot of suffering. Our modern societies are evil. It's easy to understand the nature of evil there where we look at our modern societies. It's not that, for example, our societies hate the environment, they exploit the environment. But there where the problems that are within the environment arise and harm society will with intelligence seek solutions, just as evil seeks solutions to problems. It's a philosophy which is a valid guide to the behavior of your everyday man. Goodness is not the only philosophy out there is also evil, and evil also obtains results. Evil is a simpler philosophy. One must not confuse evil with wrong or bad. Goodness can be wrong as well. Goodness can make the wrong decisions and apply behavior which is harmful to others. For example, a mother that is overprotective with a child, said this one before, or a society which imposes non-due limitations. Propriety, just to give another example, is a philosophy which seeks quality, but initially it can be bad. Bad is something that is not good quality, that is of low consideration. You see, it depends how one uses the virtues to obtain results. Evil uses them in one way, seeking domination. Propriety and decency and goodness use them in another way. It's the virtues which are a wonderful source of power. They're not the only source of power, but they are the main source of power that evil uses to obtain results, together with knowledge. Thus, there where goodness gives results, there where certain behaviors obtain a return, it is for sure that after a certain amount of trial and error, evil itself will apply those behaviors. Thus, evil, through a process of education born from making a lot of mistakes, can learn to be good, maintaining its traits of an evil being which seeks its own supremacy, which seeks domination over the environment that surrounds it. Evil is a survival force, thus is not to be criticized. Our modern societies tend to, our culture tend to have the wrong understanding of what evil is. Once we understand evil, we can appreciate it more as a philosophy. Well, that's all for now, folks. Remember to like and subscribe, and remember to be evil, seek knowledge, and apply it with virtue, so to obtain results. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video that will be coming your way. Goodbye to all. See ya!